What if you don't get that in love, head over heels feeling?
Oh, I think this one's from a girl. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But our culture has, like, I feel in so many ways, like, ruined relationships. The movies we see, the things, the shows we watch, like, it's all about the romance. It's all about the feelings. So
hey,
I
man,
feel
there's
like
some people out there who are into those rom-coms right now.
Yeah,
Don't shatter it for them.
Well, that's not real life, guys, you know? And
I feel like we've lived a version of that. What do you mean?
I mean, in so many ways, but I think sometimes we go to the in love feeling is really more a soundtrack and like flowers and
if you get into
chocolate.
love as just a feeling right now, you're going to hurt my feelings. All right, Maria? I thought you were in love with me.
I'm 1,000% in love with you. But I think sometimes, like, we just have to be careful that our feelings are real, and God gives us emotions, and that's a feeling that we want. But sometimes I think, I don't know, I'm on this tangent.
If you're dating or if you're married, clarify. If you're just dating and you're asking, I don't really have in love feelings.
Oh, well, you should ask yourself some questions about the person you're dating.
Yeah. If you're married,
yeah,
that's different.
It's different.
Have you ever been out of love with me when we were married?
I remember at a really dark moment, I think it was year 7, we had just gone through 2 miscarriages, and I was on all this medication, and I had all these medical issues going on.
A couple blood transfusions.
It was a really rough time. I do remember thinking, like, I know I love him in here, but I don't feel it. I think I remember telling you that was probably the most devastating day for you. Anyway,
year 7's a real thing, guys.
Year 7 was a real thing for us. And yeah, I didn't have those feelings, but I knew that I loved you. But I could say that I didn't feel like I felt those feelings.
And what was the cause of those feelings?
For me, it was medication that was causing depression. But yeah, so you're right. This is someone dating, not married. What if you don't have those in love feelings? I mean, what would your advice be to this person?
I think you answered it right. I think, like, you know, if you're married to somebody, get ready for ups and downs in your feels.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're dating and you're like, I don't know how the hell over here right now. Like, dude.
You also thought this was a girl.
Here's your chance. Here's your chance to get out. Right? Like, sometimes I see people fighting when they're just dating, and I'm like, guys, that's...
Yeah, I remember being in church once, and you were up preaching, and I was sitting in the front row, and there was this young couple behind me.
Oh, I know the story, yeah.
And they were just, like, fighting the whole time. Like, everyone else is just having this good time. Everyone's laughing, and I just hear them behind me. and I was just like, and they're young. These kids are probably, like, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I wanted to turn around, like, with the mother's heart that I have and be like, guys, you should really break up, because this obviously isn't working, and I didn't know them very well.
Why didn't you say that? You should have.
I probably would now, just being older and not caring as much, but I did. I remember the same couple, they were going to move on to another church, and they were so gracious to come, like, they wanted to say goodbye, and I prayed with them, and I said this, and I can't believe I said this, but I'm glad I did. They came to me, and I, hugged them, prayed with them, and I was like, hey, if you two break up, will you make sure you come back? And I told the girl, I was like, I really hope you come back if this doesn't work out.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's such a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, but you know what? Most relationships end up in breakups.
I think I could just,
like,
I had
every relationship except for your marriage ends up in a breakup, right? So, like, I think you should go into relationships with the end in mind.
Absolutely.
Like,
that's the best piece of advice. Someone needs to hear that today. You need to go into a relationship with the end in mind. So
with them, it's like you're likely going to break up.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be, like, what are the odds you guys are really going to stick together?
Well, this was like, you guys don't have fun together. Yeah. Like, let me help you out. If you can't see this for yourself, I can see from a very outside perspective that there's
people
a lot of strife here.
Lonely and bored. Yeah. And there's a lot of pressure on people to be in relationships.
Totally.
Which is this is not biblical or healthy. Like, I mean, not everybody needs to get married.
100%.
I mean, marriage is the biggest decision of your life. It impacts generations, kids, everything about your life. Not everybody needs to make that decision. It says Jesus said in Matthew 19, check this out. I'm not kidding. Some of you aren't mature enough to get married, so you should stay single for your whole life.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody should be getting married. It says in like Corinthians 7, like that singleness is a gift from God too.
Totally.
Like, Jesus straight up says, like, you could do more with your life if you're single. Like, everything in your life gets rearranged and prioritized. I get up every day and I have to think about how to take care of you, how to take care of our family, how to put you guys first before me. I'm going to get to heaven and God's going to say, first thing he's going to ask me is like, you know, what'd you do with my son Jesus? Were you his follower? I gave you my son. How'd that go? And the second thing he's going to do is, what'd you do with that daughter Maria of mine that I gave you? I'm going to answer for you like pretty quick. And so I need to be ready, the end in mind for that.
Yeah.
Man, if you don't need to get married, dude.
Yeah.
You don't need, marriage is the biggest, I think, idol in our nation.
100%.
Everybody doesn't need to get married, dude.
Yeah. I think marriage too, people think of the feelings and the love and that's part of it. And that's a beautiful part of it. But getting to the end in mind, if your end in mind is marriage, which hopefully it is, so you're not just getting your heart broken over and over again, that's going to require a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like when I hear marriage, like it's almost synonymous with sacrifice. Like it's daily dying to yourself. And like you said, you're thinking of the other person. You're putting their needs before yours. You're doing that together. So there's a lot of laying your life down.
Well, that's the biblical illustration of Jesus and the church is a marriage, a bride and groom, the church being the groom. The bride, and Jesus being the groom. And that's because when you see marriage, you go, oh, that's my relationship supposed to be with God.
Right.
Is that he's faithful to me when I'm not faithful to him. He lays his life down for me and makes sacrifices, like you said, to show me he loves me, and he keeps serving me even though I keep messing up. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think, that's exactly right. So what do you do if you don't have that in-love feeling? Well, if you're dating and you ain't feeling it, I wouldn't stay dating just because it's
not going to get better, ladies and gentlemen.
I wouldn't stay dating with somebody just because you don't, you're lonely or you're, you know what I mean? People, the lie people say, well, I've invested so much time already. Right. If I break up, I'm a failure. That lie is pushing people into marriages. Yeah. And it's like, you didn't have to do that.
I always tell people this because I feel like we have a lot of people that come to us for advice on their dating life or, getting married. And I always say it is way better because I think people are lonely. There's a lot of lonely people out there. And I say it is so much better to be lonely than to marry the wrong person.
100%.
Like your life will be so much more full and happy alone.
I said that to someone the other day. I don't know if I should marry this person or not. And I was like, well, then don't. Like, what the heck?
100%. And
they're like, well, there's nothing worse than being alone. And I said exactly what you said. Yeah, there is something worse than being alone. Marrying the wrong person. That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
All right.